we go, Kell.
Good evening and welcome to Paranormal Versus. I'm here with my guest, my co-host. Sorry, I'm not with it. I've been off for a while, so excuse me. My co-host Michael Koff, and we've got an amazing guest on tonight. I just want to say one thing before we introduce her. I apologise for my absence last week. I did have quite a few people contacting us to ask us if I was all right and wishing as well. So I'm much better. Thank you very much, and I'm back anyway. So I'm gonna let Michael introduce our guest, and if anybody's got any questions, feel free to ask her. And yeah, so go ahead, Michael.
Well, actually, before I introduce Kathrine, there are two announcements we got to make, Kell.
Yeah.
One is we are on a brand new network, etalk.tv.
Yeah.
And we are live on the radio at eTalk Radio on etalk.tv. So this is our first time with that, and I can't think of a better guest to launch that with than Kathrine Sorilos.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Congratulations, guys. That's awesome news.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How was your Easter?
Sorry, say that again?
No, how was your Easter? Your Easter. How was it?
Yeah, it was good. I spent it with my grandson. So yeah, it was pretty amazing.
You've got a grandson?
Yeah. Yeah, I've got 3 actually, and I've got a granddaughter on the way as well.
How old are you?
I'm 47.
Oh, she's younger than me. And I don't have any grandchildren yet. I got to get my boys going.
You need grandchildren, yeah.
I do.
Everybody needs grandchildren. Actually, my grandson will be watching this tonight, so I've got to give a shout out to him. He's only 3 years old, but he watches us.
Baby.
So, hello, Theo.
That's a nice name. Hi, Theo. So it comes from Theodore, his name.
Theodore, yes, yeah.
Nice.
And he's like, I'm trying to persuade him, like, obviously, to become a paranormal investigator. Like, his his parents aren't happy, but he likes watching ghosts on TV.
Good.
So.
Do you know does he know what his name means in Greek? Because it's a Greek name.
No, not at all.
Theo is God, and Doro, his name in Greek is Theodoros, which is God's gift.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Yeah.
Theo is the holy. The it's like Theo is it's the holy, it's God, and Doro is present. So he's God's gift.
Oh, well, he certainly is God's gift to me anyway.
There you go.
Just to notice there's a few comments in there. Georgia Conley from South Wales. Hello, Facebook user, can you put your name on or click something to say that in before you come into StreamYard to give permission to use your name? And forgotten explorations. How do you say it again, Michael? I can never get that.
Forgotten explorations.
Yeah, you got it wrong as well last week, didn't you? So it's not just me.
I did.
Anyway, the guys that were on last week, absolutely amazing guys. I've got to give them a shout out as well. I just wish I had been on to interview them. So, and Ray, hello Ray. Right, go on, Michael. I'll let you go.
Well, it's interesting, Kell, that you say you're wanting to get your grandson in the paranormal, because our guest here, Kathrine, specializes in children and the paranormal.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Both of my girls are involved in the paranormal, and I've got 5 children, right? My oldest is 28. Then I've got a 26-year-old, a 21. All my kids are gifted, and my 2 girls have. They're called the junior team. They've done investigations in America.
Wow, that's quite impressive.
Yeah. So they love it. They love it. It's like as soon as we got back to Greece, they're like, "When are we going to an investigation? When are we going to an investigation? When are we going?" So my little one here, my 11-year-old, she got one of her friends to download on her mobile. You know those ghost apps.
Yeah.
So they go around the area where there's abandoned houses, and they do investigations on, outside, and the old people from the neighbors chase them out.
Oh,
I'm like, you gotta stop this.
Kids are cute.
She's 11. He goes, what am I doing? What am I doing? She goes, doing.
Bless. So getting onto the subject of what you do, do you want to explain what it is for the viewers, what it is exactly that you do?
Okay, I am first of all, I'm a paranormal investigator and a researcher. I'm a psychic trance medium. I'm also I used to do physical mediumship, but it does take a toll on your body.
Yeah.
So I don't do it a lot. I got to the point where I was able to stop it and say, hey, if you've got a message, pass it on. I will pass it on. And I will say the message that you want, your loved ones to hear, but don't do it through me. The only thing I can't avoid is the way they've died. So I will feel exactly, if someone is stabbed, I will feel the stabbing at that point. If they're shot, I will feel the hole in my, in my body. And
Wow.
that's the only thing I can't avoid. I can't stop. Everything else, for them coming through and speaking through me, I've stopped that. I was able to control that. That's the only thing I can't control.
Wow. That's pretty amazing.
I'm a Reiki master. Yeah, it is. Sometimes it can take a toll on you. Like there's times where I can't breathe. Like if I've got a client coming and wanting to talk to a loved one, get a message through. If the person, like the father or mother, has died from lung cancer, I will actually feel my lungs burning up. Wow. And I can't breathe. And I'm like, did she have a ventilator? Like, I've got to breathe. Like, there's times where I've just couldn't breathe. So, yeah.
Hi, Matthew.
Hi, Matthew. So, what else? I'm a jack of all trades. I do Reiki. I'm a Reiki master. I do crystal therapy. I do herbalism. I'm an eclectic witch. So I do a bit of everything.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's got down that you've part of the Life Programming Centre. What's that about?
Oh, okay. When I was 11 years old, I was, as all kids at that age, our gifts envelop, right?
Yeah.
So it's when we start realizing that we've got gifts, and how we realize it, especially in the 1980s. In my time, right?
Yeah.
You didn't talk about your gifts.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right. Our parents were with blinkers on, You didn't talk about it. It was all hush, hush. You were either crazy or,
Yeah.
or you needed an exorcism. So
yeah.
I always felt somebody always following me. I would feel whistling. I would hear whistling. I would hear my name being called out. So everything that actually happens to every person, it's exactly the same thing. They're exactly everything that's happened to me, it has happened to every single person in that order.
Yeah.
Okay. Most people, right? So at 11 years old, I had an auntie. And she said, she took me to this place. Actually, somebody suggested that I should go to this place. She spoke to this person that was involved in the paranormal, not paranormal, metaphysical. So he gave her the number of this center. It's called the Life Programming Center. And what you do there, like, it doesn't exist anymore. But what you do there, when I went, it develops your psychic abilities, because our psychic abilities are written in our DNA. They're there. Yeah. They're imprinted in our DNA. So what it does, it just opens them up more. So what I did there, what I learned at the age of 11 was remote viewing,
right?
Astral projection. I learned how to do self-hypnosis, mind over matter, words command in somebody's mind. So how to do manifestation, a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Many, many, many things. Psychometry, psychokinesis, everything that's got to do with your psychic abilities, because your spiritual abilities are seeing spirit, being a medium, being a healer, coming in contact with different realms. So that's your spiritual abilities, and then you've got your psychic abilities.
Yeah. Sorry, I've just noticed one of the comments there, Ray. He says he began to open himself up more lately. I've been hearing whispering in my head, and is that kind of thing normal, or is he nuts? Yeah, sorry, you are nuts, but that's nothing to do with that.
No, it's quite normal. It's quite normal. But you know what? Sometimes when the whispering comes through, we might not understand what they're saying. So it's good to, even if it comes in little code names, get a journal. Every time you feel something, hear something, jot it down. Jot down the time, the date, and what you thought that you heard.
Yeah.
Because you're going to go back to it, and you can, when you go back and read it, you're like, oh, yes, that was, that was right. That's what happened. That's what it was. That's what it meant.
Yeah. So was it just from when you were 11 years old? What actually happened at 11 to make this all come about?
Okay. That auntie of mine, she used to like to go to different monasteries and churches. So the one that she went to, the Saint Cypriot Church here in Greece, in Athens, it still does that. They perform exorcisms every Wednesday.
Wow.
So it's a monastery, so they go with the Old Testament. So at 11 years old, we went to that monastery. It was my mum and my auntie. And as soon as we walked in, they were performing an exorcism on this girl. I still remember her face, the way the color of her hair, what she was wearing, to the exact detail of her boots, and the way she was swearing at the priest, everything, guys, in detail. I can still picture it in my mind. I've got it. That those are things that never come out of a child's mind ever. And I actually, at that point, when the Father was blessing her and saying the prayers of deliverance, I felt it in my body. I felt her burning up, and to the point where I couldn't breathe. And I was picking up everybody else's emotions in the church, because everybody else was getting affected by it. So I was feeling like I was getting claustrophobic, to the point where I passed out.
Wow.
And that meant to me then that I was an empath and a sensitive. But in the 1980s, you don't know what an empath or a sensitive was.
Yeah.
Especially an 11-year-old. And that's when I learned, going to the School of Life Programming, what an empath and a sensitive means. I mean, we even did that. What we did was, the Estes method that we do now.
Yeah.
We did that then.
Right.
So I was one of the lucky kids. Other kids who are not so lucky, or have somebody to guide them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I'm able to guide my children and, friends, family friends or friends of mine or other clients, on how to guide the children and help them in a dire straight situation, or, if they start seeing things. And because even now, like being in Greece, despite the fact that Greece is a very ancient country, with the origins of necromancy and the oracle, oracle whispers, right?
Yeah.
So they've got blinkers on, guys. They live in the Middle Ages. I mean, I was in a group the other day, and this woman comes up, says, guys, in Greek, right? I saw this figure, a shadow figure, and outside my balcony. Does anyone know what it means? She was looking for answers, and everybody's going, oh, it's demonic. It's the devil. You need to pray. You need to do this. And it's like, guys, that's not just the answer. It could be some spirit being there in the past that that's left its residual imprints on there. Just because you see it in a shadow form, that means that you don't know what that spirit looked like when he was alive, or he or she was alive. So of course it's going to come across to you as a shadow, because you don't know the features.
Yeah, that makes sense.
and you know, energy never dies. So I was trying to explain that, and they called me a witch, a devil worshiper, and I'm like, okay, you're blocked.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
People tend to do that if they don't understand something.
Yeah,
They'll just label it as witches or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been burned to the stake, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You know, I would have been right there with you, Kathrine.
I know. Jesus, on the side.
Just to give a shout out and all, we've got Brian Laverty in the house, the owner of Parapost. So just saying hello to him.
Hi, Brian.
And we've got a question from
for
Matthew.
you.
Yeah, I'll let you ask it.
Okay, Matthew, yes, I'm clairvoyant, I'm clairaudient, I've got all clairs, all of them. I feel, I smell, I can taste. My most intense one is my my smelling and my hearing.
Wow. Yeah.
So I have a question actually for people who may be new to the show and new to you as a guest. Is you mentioned remote viewing. Can you explain what that is and how you got trained in doing that?
Okay. All right. The other day, I was doing, psychometry and remote viewing, they're like cousins. Okay. One handles the other. You can't have one and can't have the other. You know, you got to have them both. So the other day I was on a show. It was a cold case show about a missing person in America, in the US, in Detroit. So all I was given was a picture. That's it. No name, no nothing at all. So through the picture, I was able to get what had happened to the girl.
Wow.
And even saw the person, a tattoo of the person that actually strangled her. And actually that was evidence. That was, you know, I later found out that was part of the evidence, which I didn't know. Because I only, like I said, I only had the picture. Now that is psychometry. Through the picture, I was able to see what happened to her, what she ate, what she was wearing, everything in detail. And that is documented on YouTube. I can send you the link so you can have a look at it.
Yeah.
Now, with the remote viewing, I was able to, that's called psychometry. Remote viewing is able to see where exactly, or, you know, approximately where the body might be. So I did give them coordinations of where the body might be. And that is remote viewing. And remote viewing was used and is still used. It was used with the Russian government, with the US government, and other governments to find out where missiles might have been, where warheads would have been. It was used, a lot of psychics and mediums were used as remote viewers to find out what the other part was, you know, of how do I explain it? You know, where maybe they were hiding the bombs, or where they were hiding the missiles, or the airplanes, or whatever. So yeah, to catch them off guard.
Yeah. There was actually a film about something like that highlighted that a few years ago with George Clooney. I think it was called Men Who Stare at Ghosts. Ghosts, yeah.
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 So I'm kind of curious. Your remote viewing. Have you ever seen someone remote viewing you, to where you like cross paths and saw each other remote viewing each other?
Have I ever seen anybody remote viewing me? Yes, I have. I've come across people, like, feel them in my space, in my house, in my room, and I've done that as an experiment as well.
I would think that would trip me out, to have someone looking right at me and be like, "You're not here, but I can see you looking at me."
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a little bit weird. when you think about it.
Yeah, it is. It is. I've done that too with a friend of mine, and she goes to me, "I felt your presence in my house, in my room, your energy." She goes, "I felt you," and I was telling her, "You were wearing these pajamas, you were eating this, we did it as an experiment. You had your, you had your foot under your your other foot. You were writing down, so." The younger you are, you experiment much easier.
Mm-hmm.
The older you get, if you don't practice, it doesn't mean that goes away. It just mellows down.
Yeah.
Yep. Matthew has got another question for you. He says, do you need maps to remote view, or can you just do it with your mind?
Okay. I had a few people, this is going back 2018, Matthew, 17, 18. Where there were people here in Greece where they were looking for gold in their area or in the backyard. So to test me, they would just bring me photos, or they will draw the house and the backyard, right?
Right.
Or the field that the because of the war with the Germans and the Turks, and being under the Turkish Empire for 400 and something years, we had a lot of them bury the treasure in Greece in different fields, right?
Yeah.
The same with the Germans. They would throw the mud and bury them and bury their money in different fields as well. So, people would find out, oh my God, there's money, there's, a chest of gold in somebody's field. Let's go find it. So they would come to me with a drawing, just a drawing of the house and the backyard. And I would tell them exactly where it is. And they would have the machines for the gold, and actually that's where it would beep. Somebody wanted to test me a bit further to see, how come I'm seeing all that. And they hid the fact that they had coordinates, they had maps, Google Maps, right? And they just brought me a piece of paper and they wanted me to draw exactly where it was, and I did. And then they showed me I gave them coordinates on the map. I gave them numbers. And that actually had numbers from the, what's it called? In space. The satellite. Thanks, honey. They had, yeah, who knows? They had the coordinates from the satellite because the satellite picks up the gold. Gold has radio energy. It's radioactive. So the satellite picks it up.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I've done it with maps, Matthew. I've done it with just a drawing with pen and paper, with photos. So yeah, I've been tested.
Wow. So have you ever remote viewed anything that isn't like human? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Can you talk about that at all?
It was a case that I was on when I used to be with the War and Legacy Foundation. It was a case where it was a lady in Scotland, and actually she had a spirit in there that wasn't human. It was non-human. It was a very evil, dark spirit. So there was a couple of us remote viewing, and from all over the world. I was here in Greece. The other person was in Australia. The other person was in America. So there were three of us remote viewing at the same time. And we actually saw each other at that point. All three of us saw each other there. And yeah, I did see that evil thing that was there, that was attached to this lady. But we couldn't get rid of that.
Wow.
So even now, wherever she goes, it will follow.
That's amazing.
It's a pact that they've done in a past life.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's all I
Yeah.
can say about that.
Wow. So, what about like ETs? Non-human, as in like from another dimension, or have you ever seen anything like that when you've been remote viewing?
Actually, I haven't seen them remote viewing. I've seen them live.
Right. Oh my God.
So
I wasn't expecting that one.
yeah, in Greece, in Athens in particular, we've got a mountain called Parnitha, right? So, and they've closed it up, with a substance that it's out of this world. They've closed up the cave. They used to have it open, but now they've closed it. And in that cave, they've got army stuff like tanks and missiles and things like that. At one point, because it's a big bush, right? There's lots of trees, and in that mountain, right, there's actually, when you go up the mountain, your car goes backwards, like forwards. There's something with the magnetic field of the mountain, and the car, like, you might be in a straight line, and then your car will go on its own backwards if it's the magnetic field around the area around the mountain.
Oh wow.
And there was a hole there, and there were men coming out. There were a couple of men coming out with hoods, long hooded, like gowns, right? Dark black, and the behind them were two greys.
Wow.
And as soon as they saw us, the greys went back inside in the hole, and the other men started, the actual men started chasing us and started screaming at us that we were not supposed to be there.
Oh my God.
And I think I went there again after 20 years. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So
And then
Ray has a question for you, but sorry, Ray, I'm going to stick with the questions on topic right now. We will get back to your question, I promise. But Matthew says he's heard stories about people remote viewing the moon. What are your thoughts?
oh yeah, you can remote view, Matthew, you can remote view the moon, you can remote view other planets, other dimensions, and whatever information you get, it is there, it's true. And when you start putting it down in pen and paper and start comparing it with other people, their notes are exactly the same, very similar.
Wow.
So,
And
I
is
had
it
a
live?
trippy-
Yeah.
I was going to say, I got a trippy question for you, because we were talking on the energy that surrounds us about how I have the innate ability sometimes to tap into the past and see the past live. Is that considered remote viewing, or is that a different ability?
That's a different ability.
Okay.
That's a different ability. That's tapping into your past is like, well, no, yes. You know what? Every thing that it's like putting, what's it called? Labels. You know, people put labels on our gifts. Okay.
Right.
So remote, the word says that remote viewing, to be able to view remotely without being there. Okay. So jumping into the past is like you're actually seeing the past. You're actually jumping back into seeing the past. Is it like, do you see things that only involve you, or in general? Like if you go into a place, just say you go into a place, okay, a haunted location, and you start seeing, how do I say, 1800s and ballroom dancing. Is it something like that you're talking about?
Right.
Okay, so that means you're you're jumping back in time. You're actually going back in time. You're going to a trance.
Wow.
Okay.
You're going to a trance. You're actually reliving the past. How do you feel after when you've done that? How do you feel coming out of it?
Honestly, a little tired, but at the same time, like, did I really just experience that?
Yep. So it takes a toll on your body because you're actually jumping in the timeline. And you're actually reliving the past again. You're actually bringing it forward. So you're actually living it as you are there. Your soul's jumping back. Your energy is jumping back. And you're actually bringing it forward at your timeline. So you're playing with both timelines at that point.
Not on purpose.
No, not on purpose. We don't do it on purpose.
No. So, Ray, we're going to get to your question now. He was asking, why do some mediums not like working with other mediums?
Okay. It depends. I don't mind working with other mediums. I love working with other mediums because we can put information down together. And it's part, you know, if you've got a big puzzle there, you're putting piece of the puzzle together. And that's why I like working with other mediums and psychics. But there are some people out there that are either jealous or very envious or feeling lower. It's a constant competition, like it is in the paranormal world with paranormal investigators. So no, it's always a competition.
Yeah.
But me, no, I don't. I love working because, you know, there's things that I don't know, and I'm still learning, and everybody's still learning. So I would, if the other person next to me is seeing something that I can't see it, hey, that's great. Put it all together.
Right. I was thinking ego when he asked that question.
That
Like,
too.
some people's egos get out of fluff when somebody challenges them.
That too. That too. Ego. I was forgetting the word ego.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that like this, like steal the limelight off other people, and it's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Just to say that there's Facebook user that's in the house. Obviously the name hasn't came up, and I'm quite convinced it's my friend Trish, so I'm going to say hello to her. And my daughter Kirby's in, so my grandson's definitely watching.
Oh, hi.
Thank you.
And can I go back to obviously you do past life regression, is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So have you ever had any like times where it's actually been confirmed, like what you've regressed?
Yep. I did a past life regression in 2016. We're going back because it was very intense, and she was the mistress of King George in Europe. I can't remember which Spain. There you go. I'm still, I'm trying to remember bits and pieces because she's got the recording. The girl Stella, she's got the recording. So she was his mistress.
Wow.
And she was seeing herself running through a field, and she's telling me, there's this castle. She's going, no, I'm in England. And I'm like, no. She goes, I'm not in England. I'm in Spain. And I don't even know what Spain looks like. She was just, describing it. And then she said the name. She said how she was poisoned, and she died with her baby when his when his parents found out that he had a mistress and that she was pregnant. So we looked it all up, and it was true.
Wow.
It was true. It is. And that's validation for me because I love doing past life regression on people. And it was validation. I was like, oh, this is good. And then another time, when I started first doing my past life regression, and I had to practice on friends. So I was doing it on a friend of mine, and she actually went back in time with the dinosaurs.
Wow,
Um,
that'd be cool.
yeah, and like, you know, people say that there was no people living when the dinosaurs. It could have been the last dinosaurs. I don't know, but I wanted to see if she was lying to me.
Right.
So, but I could see in her, she was in her REM situation with her eyes going back and forth, back and forth. And I said, "Are you close to the dinosaurs?" She goes, "No." She goes, "We are 3 days away by foot." And I'm like, okay, she's not lying.
Right.
Yeah, she was describing everything. She was describing how the women used to go and hunt, not the men.
Wow.
It's
And
actually true.
yeah,
That was pretty cool.
she was talking in language which I couldn't understand. I was like, "Belinda, speak in English. I don't understand what you're saying." She was like, and she'll be like, I'm sorry," and then she'll come back and start speaking in English again, and then she'll go off and speak in the language that she used to speak with, you know, in her time. And see, she was the type of woman that always looked after herself. With her nails, her hair, her body, her physique, everything had to be perfect.
Yeah.
At that point, she was crying because her hair was all over the place and there were flies on her and her teeth were just gone and rotten. And she goes, I'm smelling.
Yeah. I could imagine that's a nightmare.
Yeah, and I was trying not to laugh, you know, I was just like guiding it through and trying not to laugh, but it does have its good stuff too. So yeah, it was good.
The reason why I was asking that for was because I've actually had dreams about one of my past lives as well, and it got to a point where my daughter went for a drive, and I found the house that I used to live in my past life by pure chance, and I described every part of that house. And when we looked online, it was like an old mansion thing, so it was identical to what I had described to her. It was pretty detailed. I actually had it published in a magazine as well, the experience of it. And I ended up killing myself by throwing myself off a bridge. And I was pregnant. And according to a medium friend of mine, they said that my best friend is my unborn child. And that's why we have this soul connection. So every time I see my friend now, she basically blames us for murdering her. So yeah, it's like a running joke now for years. Yeah,
You killed me.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. No, you killed me.
You didn't even give me a chance.
Yeah, she blames me for everything that goes wrong because obviously I killed her in my past life.
Oh God! Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that is amazing. So yeah,
But Kathrine, going back about the dinosaurs, there is a place here in Texas in Glen Rose that is become famous because it has a footprint and a dino print cast in stone in a riverbed side by side.
Wow.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah, they can't explain how there's a human footprint and a dino print fossilized next to each other.
So that means humans were around, because people say that they were not around when the dinosaurs were around, but I do believe that they were around when the dinosaurs were around. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
I'm kind of curious because there's debate around it. Can you sense anything about, were they really side by side, or was it a case of one print was there and then the ground softened up and another print was made later and they weren't actually side by side?
My intuition says side by side.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't think that we've been told everything in history. Everything we've been told is not true. So we've been lied about
many things.
More than dozens of things. So yeah, I believe that.
Oh yeah, how many times has the Bible been rewritten and man-made? And how many things have been ripped out of history books and
propaganda? Yeah,
exactly, and
even
hidden
the royals,
away.
Yeah,
exactly.
Even the royals do it. Yeah, Richard III was made to be like an evil, like obviously hunchback. I didn't know he did have, I think it was scoliosis or something.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's starting to come out that he wasn't actually as evil as what they said. It was just what the Tudors did to, like, obviously make him look bad at the time. So yeah, I can well believe that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, because those tutors, man, they were, you know, modern.
Have you ever gotten to the point of where, like, obviously what history dictates you, and then something in your head just says, no, that's not right?
Many times, Kel.
Yeah.
Many times.
Mm-hmm.
Many times, like, even when I start seeing things on, like, just say, read something, or I see something on TikTok, and I'm like, I knew that.
Yeah.
You know, that's how it is. That's how I've seen it.
Yeah.
Why is it coming out now?
It's like old news to us.
Exactly. So yeah, no, I'm with you there.
Is there Reese Savino saying his goal is to do an experiment where he has mediums in every category?
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to see, I haven't got my glasses on.
To see if we can get a clear and definitive answer to the activity in a location one day. He's just talking about his goal of what he's wanting to do and why he was asking about the mediums not getting along.
Yeah. So if he can get, so from what I've gathered, he's got a location. Ray's got a location, and he wants to get some information about his location. Right? Am I right?
Right.
Okay. So he wants to have 4 or 5 mediums working at the same time, to get the information. Now, if he can get that, and that would be great. You know, if he's the team leader, he needs to say, hey guys, all egos set aside. This is not a competition. This is helping us, and helping spirit, and helping the location at the same time. So let's all, you know, the more connected we are, the stronger the energy is. So he needs to put his foot down.
And also, I think you would need to say that there's no wrong answers, because
exactly,
you and I both know if a piece doesn't fit in that moment, give it time and that piece will fit. You'll find a reason why that piece came up and how it fits in. It may not be in that moment, but yeah, don't ever discard.
No, that's why I said to every medium puts a piece of the puzzle in there.
Yeah.
Right. I was just meaning, like, if they're in a hospital and somebody says, oh, I see a tree, and, you know, they're walking in a garden, don't discount the garden, because somebody could have had something happen in a garden, and that's why they're in the hospital.
Exactly. That's true. That's 100% true.
So Matthew's back with another question. Thank you, Matthew. He says, do all mediums tap into the same source for their answers?
No. You know, other mediums might see visions. Other mediums might see, other mediums speak to spirit. Others might hear things, feel things. Everybody's got their own energy, their own source. So every human being, every soul is different, and so every medium is different, the way they tap into their energy to see things. Wow. But that doesn't mean that, you know, if I tap in like that, I'm wrong, or if somebody taps up like that, is right. We're all right.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Right.
Obviously, it's got in your bio that you do astral projection. Yeah. What's it? I mean, like, for the people who don't, what's it like in the astral realm? I'll get the words right.
The astral realm. It is amazing. When I first started doing astral projection, I learned about it at the School of Programming, right? Live programming at the age of 11.
Yeah.
Guys, it took me 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 years to do it. I would practice every day. Like, everybody astral travels every night. Everybody does. Subconsciously, and unconsciously you don't remember it. You might remember fragments when you wake up.
Yeah.
Or you might be feeling tired when you wake up, or you might be feeling exhausted, or the feeling of coming back into your how you feel that you're falling out of your bed,
Yeah.
or the feeling of falling in your dream. That's actually you astral traveling and coming back into your body.
Wow.
So when I first was able to do it consciously, to astral travel, I did it at the age of 17.
Right.
And there was at the point where it was at the point where I said, I give up. I can't do this. I am useless. So I said, I'm never going to bother doing it ever again. So I had my bedside lamp switched on. So I went to switch it off. And actually my hand was going through the lamp.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, this is not right.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing myself walking up to the door, because I had my door locked, and I was trying to open it, and my hand was going through the door. And that's when I panicked.
Mm-hmm.
And I started screaming, but no voice was coming out.
Wow.
And I actually saw myself go through the door to my parents, trying to open my parents' room, and I couldn't open the handle. And I was in panic mode.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And then I came back and I saw my body on the bed.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So I'm like, okay, I've astral traveled. How do I get back?
That would be freaky.
It was. And then I started seeing other energies around me, other spirits around me, because you do see when you're in the astral world, even if it's in your world, in our dimension, there is still other souls out there that are astral traveling at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I got scared. So I got back into my body, not the way I came out, but the other way around. So the impact was really strong. I got up and I couldn't breathe. I was in pain. My whole body was in pain.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, I started doing it. I said, like, okay, I can do this. That doesn't mean that the next day I was able to do it again. But it took me a while. And then I got to the point where my teacher, because after that, I was being taught by a Taoist teacher how to do astral traveling, how to actually enhance it more. And he goes, if you get to the point where you close your eyes and you're at the bus stop and you're able to jump out of your body and jump back in, you've mastered astral traveling.
Wow.
And that's how I learned how to cut off noise in my life. He taught me how to cut outside noise. So if I've got at the background at the moment, my kids talking slowly, I can hear them. They're on the thing. I've got my husband playing on his PlayStation, so I can hear the car, but my focus is here.
Yeah.
Because I can cut off the noise. You learn how to cut off the noise, the outside noise, and that helps a lot with astral traveling. And the question was, because with the astral traveling, yes, I have gone to different realms. I've gone to different places where I've fought wars.
Wow.
And different planets and different entities, and I've traveled back in time as well when I've astral traveled. Mostly with my astral traveling guys, I go to places where it's like everyday people.
Yeah.
But I don't recognize them. I don't know who they are. I've never met these people.
Yeah.
And I actually sit down and I have conversations with them. I walk into their houses. I talk to them. I do things with them. I do activities with them. And then I wake up the next morning, I'm like, who were they? So, yeah, I've gone to other dimensions and met people, that parallel worlds. I've been to parallel worlds. It's magnificent.
Right. We've got two questions. There's Matthew again has come up with a good one. Is it true about the silver cord that seems to be attached to your physical body when you astral project?
Yes, it is. It is.
Right.
That helps you come back. It does. It's very rare, very rarely to break off. And if it does, it's when You know how you've got a healthy person that say, "Oh my God, she died from a heart attack in their sleep,"
Yeah.
and they were healthy. There was nothing wrong with them.
Yeah.
That cord broke.
We've got Caller the Crow, who's a friend of mine, Nick, has a question. How would one protect themselves from astral travelers that use it for devious purposes?
Okay. Now, you always underneath your pillow, you can have a piece of moonstone, selenite, and clear quartz to amplify it, and black tourmaline or black onyx to ground you and protect you at the same time. So, and because you're going to the astral world, it is good to have, when you're traveling like that, it's good to have a mirror underneath your pillow.
Yeah.
So you're reflecting back those entities, so they won't come through to you. You're actually trapping them, and not so they don't come back into your dimension. Those are little things that you can do through meditation. You can do a little prayer. What if you believe in whatever religion you believe in, to have protection before you can actually cleanse, ground, seal, and protect yourself with a simple exercise with blue light, white light, gold light. So these are little things that you can do to ward off devious people that are trying to come through, either when you're astral traveling or when you're lucid dreaming at the same time, because they do come through when you're lucid dreaming, not just with astral traveling.
Yeah. Wow.
So
That's
you
pretty
have
amazing.
a fan in the chat room, Kathrine.
Me?
Archbishop Ken says,
Hi!
"Hi everyone, some of my favorite people," and he says, "Mama Kathrine is the best. Her abilities are real, no joke."
Ken I love him to death. I met him many years ago when we were together in the Warren Legacy Foundation Paranormal. He's still there. I left for personal reasons, but we've kept contact, and I love him. I adore him.
Yeah, he was one of our favorite guests. All of our guests are our favorites, but yeah.
You have to say that though, don't you? Yeah, he's amazing. Actually, I was going through a bad time with his illness and something else a few weeks ago, and he sent us a prayer, and absolutely amazing guy. Yeah,
He does. It helps. He's amazing. He is amazing. All you guys are amazing.
Yep.
Oh.
And Facebook user, you guys got to give StreamYard permission to show your name so we can identify you. So,
Okay.
question: how do you know that you have this special talent?
We all have special talents. Facebook user, whoever you are, you have special talents. You have special gifts as well. It's just that actually, even if you pick up the phone and you know who's on the other side, that's called telepathy. If you think about somebody and then 5 minutes later they walk through the door, that's telepathy.
Yeah.
So, and that's part of your psychic gifts. If you recognize something, a premonition, or you see something through your dreams, and then it comes, you interpret it like dream interpretation, it comes true. That's a gift.
Yeah.
Okay. The Facebook user said, "Sorry, it's fresh."
Yeah, she's one of my best friends. I've known her since nursery school. So, yeah.
That's not the one you killed. That's the other one, isn't it?
No. This is no. I didn't kill her in the past life. No. What's the other one?
Okay.
Oh, but an interesting thing. I'm curious. When you're astral traveling, have you ever gotten to a space in like the astral field where you're like, "Yeah, this would be a cool place for to create a world and for yourself. It's kind of like a sanctuary, and you just design and create a space for yourself"?
Okay, that you see, meditation and astral traveling, they're very similar because you meditate, you relax, you meditate to go, see, past regression, past life regression, meditation, self hypnosis, astral traveling, they're all have got similar bases, right? So when you meditate, have you ever meditated where you fix your own little sanctuary? Have you ever done that?
I have, and I found when I moved to another place that I didn't have the ability to do that. So I went and found space in the astral field
Mm-hmm.
and created a nice little purple world for myself that's got a floating island over the ocean that's got a whole bunch of really cool features. And I even have created like a civilization there in my, and so I go and check on them every once in a while.
Yep, that's you. That's your world. That's your sanctuary. That's your subconscious that has made that little world in the astral plane. But that's yours.
Right.
That
And
sounds cool.
I love the fact that I was always taught, and I'm sure it's true, is like unless I tell you where it is,
Yeah,
you
no one can
can't
find it.
find it.
No, no, that's true. That is true. No one can find it unless you tell them, unless somebody is smart enough to stumble upon it or read your mind and go there. But that is your place, and that is deep in your subconscious, in your really, really deep. No one has access to that. That's your little box.
Wow. So, have you had any bad experiences when you've been across in the astral plane? Has anybody tried to attack you over there, or?
Yeah, I've had once or twice. I've had bad experiences. Nothing physical though to get up and have like marks on my body,
Yeah.
but actually fighting and waking up, getting back into my body and feeling exhausted and pain all over. Yeah,
Wow.
but no physical marks.
That's amazing. Hey, Jacob.
So Matthew's got a question for you. Is it possible to astral travel into other dimensions or even astral travel into the spirit world and visit past loved ones?
Okay, that's a trick. That's a question where you can't stay much in the spirit world. Okay, if you want to talk to a loved one, or if you want to see a loved one, it's to cross over to their world. It's hard. For them to come to our world, it's much easier because they've been in our world beforehand. So it's much easier for them to come back than it is for us to go into their world. But if we do go into the world, we might get trapped. So, in other words, if you want to talk to a lot, what I do and what I tell a lot of my clients and exercises that I give them, you can build little rooms. For instance, in your subconscious, when you're meditating, you can build a little room. In your mind, you can build a room that looks like their house or, their kitchen, something that's very similar to them that will make them feel comfortable. So what you do is you come out of your body. So this is coming out of your body. You're astral traveling at this point. Okay. So you're out of your body and you go to that little space that you fixed, that little home. Okay. And so you open the door because you've got to open the door, and the door is the portal. So you open the door, you walk into that little room that you've made, and you bring the loved one there afterwards, only for a little while, only for about 5-10 minutes max. Tell them what you need to tell them, and then, like I said, you build something familiar to them so they don't feel tense and they don't feel uncomfortable. Because if you take them to a place where they've never been, they will out of their spirit world and out of the world that they've lived while being on this earth. They will, they will feel a bit uncomfortable. They only know certain steps. So, like coming from their world into their home, because then again, spirits, if they've been stuck on earth for a very long time, they tend to forget who they are, or if they keep on visiting all the time, they tend to forget who they are and what is the purpose here. So you fix a little room that they know of. Okay, say if they love sitting in the kitchen, you make a little kitchen that looks like their kitchen. You open up the door, which is the gateway, the portal. You go in there and you wait for them. They come through. You tell them what you want to tell them. Then you let them go. They come out the way they came in, and then you come out, and then you destroy that room.
Wow.
Okay. So I got a question from Jeff, who runs eTalk TV, our new network we're on. He says, hey, I'm a first-time listen. What was the most important lesson you've learned while astro traveling?
The most important lesson. Wow, that's a tough question. I'm still learning. I'm actually still learning. Well, it is not to tread on other people. I don't know how to answer that. Seriously, I don't know how to answer that, what I've learned. I think I'm still learning, and I'm very cautious not to tread into other people's fields or other people's dimensions or other spirit dimensions if I don't know where I'm going.
Yeah.
But I know that spirit will take me where I'm supposed to be. And why I've astral traveled. Like, say I'm astral traveling tonight, right? And they know where to take me and what is my purpose and why I need to be there.
Right. I would piggyback on that and say, for me, when I astral travel, the important lesson that I carry with me is be careful who and what I'm dealing with, because like you, I've gone and done peace treaties and, fought in wars, and you may think you've won something and you come back and you're all celebrating and everything and think nothing of it, no harm. And you may come and find yourself with somebody who survived that is really mad and wants to get revenge. And yeah, so always be very careful what you're doing and make sure that what you're doing is of the best intention.
No, I agree with Michael. I do. Like I said before at the beginning, like, tread carefully.
It's pretty cool. Michael, do you want to? Have we got time to stay on a little bit longer, or?
I'm good to go for a little longer.
Are you okay to stay on for a little bit longer, Catherine? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. There's another question. Obviously, you've done your demonology. You're a demonologist. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Okay. All right. So, oh my God, how do I explain this? This is going back into depth of demonology.
Oh, she's getting the book.
Okay. Now, what they teach us in demonology, right, is mostly the Christian demons, right? The 72, based on Solomon, the 72 the demons, which if you, the word demon is demon, or demon in Greek, okay? It comes from the Greek word demon, which means to have the, how do I explain that in English now? Hang on, because I know the Greek. Okay. A demon. Oh, here, they're in there. Demonas. I'm talking to my husband. He's talking in Greek. Going, no, it's like this. He's trying to explain to me. Okay. A demon means good spirit.
Right.
Demon is to have the knowledge of spirit. So that's what it comes, and that's based on Plato and Socrates, right? On their books. So they took the deities and the gods and they demonized them. Christianity, like for instance, how can I explain it? Paimon. Okay, not Paimon, actually Phoenix. Phoenix is one of the 72. But Phoenix is an ancient Greek mythological bird.
Yeah.
And actually the Chinese believe in the Phoenix. So whatever the Christians didn't like, I mean, I'm brought up as a Christian, right? A Greek Orthodox. So whatever the Christians didn't like, well, I won't say the Christians, I will say the priests, they demonized everything. So to me, I mean, demonology is a big subject to talk about. It could take hours.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I can sit there and talk about the fallen angels. Were they actually fallen? Or did they come down because they wanted to come down? And coming in contact with the humans, the human women, and giving birth to the Nephilims. And then we go back to the Anunnaki. And then there's, if we really get into it, I can be here for another hour.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I mean, what got in demonology, you don't get what I'm saying here and what I've written down. It is not what is written in the books. In the books, they only give you. I've got a good friend of mine. He's a shaman, and he says he's done demonology as well. He goes, what you've learned in the books and what you've learned doing demonology, throw them. They're no good. So he's analyzed. There was one day we were sitting there for 3 hours and he was analyzing about ancient Egypt and about the gods in ancient Egypt and how they were worshipped and why were they demonized and where did it all start. And, first it was from the Egyptians and then about demonology. And then it was the Sumerians and the Assyrians, everything. He was putting it all in 3 hours, explaining everything. And my head was like, yeah, what I've learned is not what you're telling me, He goes, throw your books away.
Yeah.
So I can sit here for another hour talking about it.
Yeah. We've got another, obviously, Call of the Crows. It says Christianity demonized everything.
Yes.
Pagan is Christian classification.
That is true.
Yeah.
Christianity
Totally
demonized everything, because they didn't like it. Mm-hmm. Like, for instance, I'll give you a quick example. The king, there was a great king, Eustinos in Greek, whatever his name was called, that somebody told him that he was a dog in a past life. So up to a certain date, the Greeks and the Greek religion believed in past life, that we all been reincarnated. But because the king didn't like it, that somebody said to him that you might have been a dog, he banned by law. The Greek religion, Greek Orthodox religion, does not believe in past life.
Right.
So, yeah. So what was the questions? I saw a few questions there.
Oh, well, Matthew had asked when you were talking about demonology, are they really fallen angels? And you had just answered that when it came through.
Yeah.
So I was showing his question to acknowledge we saw it. And Call of the Crow says Norse religion revered women. Christianity didn't like that.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know what? The Norse people, the Icelandic people, right? They've kept the religion and good on them. They've kept the old religion and good on them. I'm like, congratulations. Because the ancient Greeks believed in the 12 gods.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then the Apostle Paul or Peter, I can't remember who came here. He was like, yeah, Peter. Thank you, Michael. And he just went, no. And, all our statues were broken and, people were burned, killed for believing in the ancient religion.
Wow. Jumping off there, a little bit off the subject here, have you heard of Dolores Cannon?
No.
I have.
Yeah, I know you would have. Basically, she obviously she's done loads of videos and stuff like that over the years, saying how we've had soul contracts and everything we do was pre-planned and
That's
stuff
true.
like that. Yeah, so you believe in that as well, yeah?
Oh yeah, I do. We
Yeah.
know what we're signing up there. We know exactly what we're signing up there before we come down, and even our children, we pick our parents.
Yeah.
We pick the parents that we're gonna. Yeah, I know. I looked at my kids and I went, "Are you sure about that?"
Yeah, it's like you would think, why the hell would we choose so much rubbish, let's just say, I'll put it in a polite way, that will actually go through in our lives? Why would anybody pre-plan that? But it's
a lesson to learn, because I've seen people, even after telling them, this is, who am I to say what you're doing is wrong? But even coming out and saying, hey, this is where you're faulting at the moment. You're repeating the same mistake you did in your past life. Fix it. And when you see that person continuing and doing the same thing over and over and over again, hey, they're coming back.
Yeah, I believe that as well.
Well, yeah.
So, I actually got a historical curiosity question for you, Kathrine. The Spartans seem to they were in history, then they disappear, and they always say because the city-states, were taken over. But I'm wondering if the Spartans kind of left and joined up with the Vikings, because they seem their cultures are almost identical.
No, the Spartans. Sparta is if you ever come to Greece, Sparti, that's what it's called in Greek, is a very small town, a very small city, and or region, or whatever you want to call it. So it's very tiny, it's very small. At the moment, there's only thousands of people, living down in Sparti. So a lot of people say it's the other way around. Like the Norse came down to Greece, to Sparta, and they're very similar because they're both warriors.
Right.
The Spartans, the Norse, they're both warrior civilizations, if that makes sense.
Right, and they both revered the women, and the women were actually the tougher soldiers you did not want to meet.
Yeah,
exactly. They
That's
even
true.
they did. The women would take care of everything. The Athenian women were not like that, all up north, right? But the Spartan women, they were a tough bunch. They were very tough, and they controlled the whole village. Sorry, that's the word I was looking for. They controlled the whole village, because what happens is when I think things in Greek and I try to interpret them in English, and then they get all muddled up, and it's like, forget it, it's like squirrel. But but the women in the Spartan village, they were really strong. I mean, we had that conversation. If the child had a small defect and wasn't able to become a soldier in his life, because they were taken away at the age of 7. Boys were taken away from the age of 7. If the kid was born with even a tiny defect, they would the mother would throw them off the mountain.
Wow. Couldn't imagine that.
No. But that had to be perfect.
Yeah.
Everything had to be perfect on them. Every part of the body, the mind, everything. Mind, body, and soul. That's what the ancient Greeks taught. They used to say in Greek, it's like soma υγιή, nous υγιής, which if the body is healthy, the mind is healthy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. There's a question down there of a Facebook user. How can you change your future? As I've picked mostly bad things. I think they're talking about, obviously, the soul contracts type of thing. How can they change their life from all the bad things that they're getting? I think.
Okay, so you put down the bad things that you think that you've picked. and you can actually, if it's in the past, you can actually do a small meditation and actually bring them forward into your meditation, right? You can actually do a little room again, your room, a little sanctuary or safe room that you feel safe in. Bring your past problem in there one by one and light it up on fire and watch it disappear. It's gone, it's finished, it's done, it's in the past. Okay, and that way you're not going to repeat it again. So you're burning it away. You're actually saying the words intent, the thought intent. You're putting a thought intent in your mind. You're putting the words intent, and you're saying that I've done it, I've acknowledged it, I know why I've done it, and I'm okay with it. So you burn it, you throw it away. The only way you can change things is by manifestation. Okay, so you've got your thought intent in your mind and your DNA. So you're manifesting something, like, say you want to be a better person at your job. I'm giving you an example, right? And you want to find a better job, and you want to be a better person with your colleagues. Okay, these are small examples. So you're actually manifesting that in your mind. You're actually saying that tomorrow morning when I wake up and I go to my job and I see these people, I will be a better person. I will get on with them. Or they will see me differently. They will see me as a nice person. I will have people surrounding me. You can actually, your mind is so strong. You actually can bend reality. You can bend time.
Yeah.
You can manifest things that you don't know about. Trust me, I've done it.
We've got Call of the Crow here again, saying there's actually many rituals involving cutting ties, which I helped him a while ago with one of them when he was having problems. So yeah,
there is. Yeah, you can cut ties with candles. You can actually do the candle magic and cut the cords like
That's
that.
what we did. Yeah.
I like the Viking style better. Get a sword and just physically cut it.
Yeah, you can do that. You can cut it with scissors, and guys, our mind is so strong that it can do wonders.
Yeah. Before we go to the next question, I have a question for you, Kathrine. Is talking about rewriting our past and learning from it. I was taught a technique called timeline therapy. Have you ever heard of that?
I think I have, but it could be different. Is it like putting the dates and
So what it is so say like I'm always finding the wrong person for a relationship as an example. So I go back to the very first timeline in my past life when I found the wrong person. Learn what I needed to learn there, state what I learned, turn it into a positive, and then bring that knowledge forward. And therefore, I no longer have to repeat finding the wrong person. I'll find the right person. So I'm wondering, is that similar to what you're saying, or is your way faster and easier?
Okay. All right. Okay. You can actually go back, but isn't that mending with your past life? So, say you go back into your past life and you make that person disappear. The one that started the source of evil, okay? And you make them, all right?
Well, the situation, right?
Yeah, I'm only joking. So you make them disappear completely. That will affect you later on in your future lives.
Okay.
Just say that person is actually part of your soul group. Just say that person is not your soulmate, but your actual twin soul.
Yeah.
Right.
And you go back and you delete that. How about going back and actually teaching them where they've done the mistake.
See, that's actually what I was meaning, is not erasing the person, but re-looking at the situation and saying, okay, yes, this was bad, but I've learned from this. Now I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. So
but
now
then,
I won't look for that.
Okay, but you've learned. Have they learned?
Right. Yeah.
So it is meant to happen. You're meant to go through that. Like if you're going to go back and rewrite it, you can only bend, say you got an elastic band, you can only bend it a little bit and change a few things. You can't change everything completely.
Right.
Because it will bounce back and hit you harder. It's like the butterfly effect.
Right.
Okay. So what happens is you can actually go back and warn the person not to make, talk to that person, warn the person not to make those mistakes, but let them do a few of those. You don't want to bend it all, tie the timeline completely. You want to be able to do that because you want them to learn from those mistakes. You've learned, but you need them to learn as well, because they will come back again and again and again and do them again and again and again and again, and maybe even do them worse. Does that make sense?
It does.
Good. But you can actually do the thing I told you, going into that little room. That's the fast one. Just go boom, 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 say what you want to say, and that's it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to start using your method. So Matthew says, with soul contracts, do we choose to experience negative things in our lives because everything is so perfect when we're back at source?
Okay. Do we choose to experience negative? Yes, we do choose to experience negative things, not because everything's perfect when we go back, to source. Because when we go back to source, what we do is we get all, we're in the same spirit group, the same soul group. So what we do is we go up there and we download all the information that I've learned in this life. I will go, when I die, I'm going to go up there and I'm going to download it into the central processing unit in that big computer, which is in the center of my soul group. Okay. But have you ever formatted a computer? We all have. Even if you format it, there's still little fragments left in them. And that's what happens with our DNA. So when we are reborn, those little memories, those little fragments are still imprinted and hidden in our DNA. So we bring them with us in the new life. So in other words, it's not like repeating negative things. It's like learning from those negative things in the past. We might do the same mistakes again, but we know them in our knowledge that we are doing them to fix them.
All right. So Stephen popped in to say hello.
Hello, Stephen.
Holy sweet home, Alabama. I was actually in Alabama for, hang on, last year. How many months? August, September, October. Yeah, 3 months.
I think in November too, because I think you were in Alabama when we talked to you on the show.
No, I left in October, I think. I can't remember.
Oh, that's right. You were on twice. So one of them you were.
Yep.
And Call of the Crow says, gotta run, guys. Thanks so much, Kathrine, Kell.
It was a pleasure meeting
Ridley
you.
and Mike. He's making sure he doesn't confuse which Kell.
It was a great show, guys.
I was just about to say, Michael, have you got any other questions before we close up anyway?
Not on hand.
I think I've got so many that it would have to probably do it on another show because it would probably take ages.
Whenever you want, guys. I can jump back in anytime you want.
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely have you back on because, like I say, I've still got a list of questions to ask, and we're totally running out of time now. So Yeah, we'll definitely have to arrange that.
It always happens with Michael. Every
Yeah.
time we jump on a show, the time just goes like that,
Yeah.
and it's like, but I still have more questions to ask.
Yeah.
This is
I
why
mean, scratch your
we have her
surface.
on so many times, and even though we've had her on, like, I think you've been a guest on shows of mine now 5 times.
Yeah.
And they're all different. It's like
they are.
rarely ever talk about the same
That's true.
experience on the same show.
Uh-huh.
I love it. I have such a great time every time I jump on Michael's shows. Like the time just flies so fast. It's like, okay.
Yeah, we'll have to definitely arrange to get you on. Like I say, my list is absolutely huge of things that I would love to talk about. I think everybody else would be.
Anytime you guys want. I'm right here. Ain't
Yeah.
going anywhere.
That's great.
No, I just want to mention, like you had said to everyone in the chat group that maybe joining in now, Kathrine is actually, so this is actually a 3-country conversation. Kathrine is in Greece, Kell's in the UK, and I'm in the USA.
Yeah.
So it's really cool how we're all
It is
spread around and we're sitting there having a conversation, just like we were at a table.
Which part of the UK?
I'm from the northeast, Newcastle.
Oh, Newcastle. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Nice.
So this is a funny thing I like to point out where Kell lives. She is down the street from Hadrian's Wall, but doesn't go and check it out.
Yeah, I did actually a few days ago, but it was just a quick passing. So yeah.
You actually went there?
Yeah, well, you've seen the photos on my Facebook.
Oh yeah.
It was a little temple around the corner from my daughter's.
Well, you said temple. You didn't say Hadrian's Wall.
No, it's a temple on Hadrian's Wall. It's actually a temple on Hadrian's Wall.
Wow, I'm so proud of you. You finally went.
Yeah, well, yeah, I've been loads of times, but I just haven't investigated on the wall. That's all. So I'll get around to it eventually.
I like to tease her because it's a very historic spot. That she's like, I've never investigated. I'm like, oh my God, I would be there like every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I would. Like, for instance, in Scotland, I got there in 2018, right? And I thought, okay, I'm going to start doing investigations. I'm going to get adapted and blah, 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 blah. COVID hit. Didn't end up doing nothing. I didn't invest. I went to a lot of castles and a lot of monuments and places, beautiful places like St. Andrews and the Loch Ness. I went past, what's his name, Crawley's house and the cemetery where he performed his necromancy, but I couldn't investigate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I say, I'm going to start like investigating because if I don't, Michael's not going to be happy with us.
It's just kind of funny that when it popped up, but she was like, "So are you familiar with this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I would." And she's like, "Oh, I just live down the road." I'm like,
"Yeah, like 200 yards."
Hey, I'm coming.
The amount of castles and stuff that we've got around here that I didn't even know existed. It's like pretty funny. So yeah, I'm gonna have to like start investigating them as well. Get my finger out and get it done. So,
yeah, but in defense, I've started finding places around here that I didn't know were around here that I'm like, oh, I really should have known those were around here. Now I'm going to start investigating.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of hidden treasures everywhere.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yep. Well, we're approaching an hour and a half, so I know it's getting late especially where you are, Kathrine, and Kell, it's getting late for you.
Well, it's 11 o'clock here, so it should be about 9 o'clock in the UK.
Yeah, 9 o'clock, yeah.
Yep.
All right, it's 3 o'clock here in the US.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny that I have a light on because it's daylight out, but it's still, I need a light on to fully.
Well, it's darkness here, so yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you can see out the window behind us. It was light when I came on, so yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good, but the weather's nice here now, so.
Yeah, I can imagine. Wow.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere where anybody could find you, Kathrine?
Well, they can find me through Facebook as in Kathrine Sorilos, or on my page, which is Oracle Whispers by Kathrine Sorilos. They can find me on TikTok as Oracle Whispers, on Instagram as Oracle Whispers, or as Kathrine Sorilos. Either way, they look me up, they'll find me.
Okay, that's great. Michael, anything?
Just thank you to everyone in the chat group, and let's see, we have no show next week as we do every other week, so it'll be in a couple of weeks. We'll be back with a guest. Do you remember who it is?
You're asking me, you know. You know what my memory's like. I'll usually ask you this.
So it's, let me make sure I can say it right. Jockey Solomon McKay will
Right,
be
yes.
joining us.
That's right, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So that'll be, what date was that on?
That
Does it
will
fall
be the 27th.
27th, right. Okay. So anyway, it was absolutely amazing talking to you, Kathrine. I've been an absolute pleasure.
I loved it, guys.
We've had quite a few people, like I say, in the chat. So it's been quite a good show. And like I say, I'm desperate to get you back on here again in the future because there's so much
I love
more.
to come on.
Yeah.
I do.
I've had really good fun, and like I say, it's been wonderful. So thank you.
Yeah.
And
It was
Always a
good to-
pleasure to have you on, Kathrine.
Yeah, no, I love coming on, guys. I love it. I love,
Yeah.
like I said, with Michael, time flies like boom, like that. So it was a pleasure meeting you too, Kel.
And you.
Yeah.
And thanks everybody that came into the chat and asked questions. And yeah, it's been absolutely amazing. So thank you.
Thanks. All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, hang on.
Right. So, like I say, I'd just like to thank everybody again. And thank you to Michael for all the work and everything that he done when I was off poorly. Absolutely amazing co-host.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And it's great to have you back. You were missed the last show.
Oh, I was missed. Somebody missed us. Oh, well.
And
Yeah.
it was funny when your dog was barking. My dogs ran outside trying to figure out who's barking.
Oh, my God, yes. Yeah. But anyway, I think we better close the show up now. So,
All right.
right. So, again, thank you for everybody that's been on here. We'll be back in 2 weeks. And yeah, it'll be fun. So, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to eTalk TV for letting us join their network.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay. Right. Anyway, so good night and have a good week and stay safe, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.